So this video is basically explaining how you can get a ripped body quickly. And we're going to be talking about five things. Five things. Number one is how muscle is built. Number two is how you should train. Number three is when to increase the level of your training. Number four, the expected time to reach your goal. And number five is how to reach your goal faster. So, how is muscle built? Look at multiplication table, for example. When you were a kid, when you first got introduced to maths, the multiplication table, you might have trouble with it initially, but over time, the more you keep practicing with it, it becomes normal to you. And that's the way it is with muscle as well. The general principle of adaptation. When you take on a physical level of task, your body might struggle with it initially, but over time, if you keep exposing your body to that level of task or higher, your body would force itself to adapt so it can become normal for you. So you stop struggling with it. That's the way it is. And then we're going to talk about how you should train. If you want to get stronger gradually, what you should do is gradually increase the physical level of activities you expose yourself with. So let's say you start with incline push-ups, for example, in the beginning. After you see you're already having progress in incline push-ups, increase it to push-ups. Then after push-ups, you master push-up to a certain extent, increase it to explosive push-ups, then archer push-ups, and so on. Same thing it is for your lower body. You can first start with squats, then increase it to jump squats, then increase it to pistol squats or shrimp squats. Your choice. Same thing with core. You can first start with crunches, then increase it to sit-ups, then you can increase it to V-ups and so on. That's how you should train to see proper progress in having muscles and getting a ripped body. The third thing we're going to be talking about is when to increase the level of your training. Strength or adaptation rather is first mental before it is physical. Meaning that when you can say for the current level of physical activity you are currently partaking, if you can say you are completing it with at least an ease of 5 over 10, then you are ready to increase it. For example, after you are done with, let's say, 50 push-ups, and if you are asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy was it for you? If you can say 5 over 10 or 6 over 10 or 7 over 10, then you are ready to increase to the next level. Maybe taking it push-ups to from 50 to 60. That's the way it goes. And then over time, if you keep going in this manner, for example, if you start with incline push-ups of 10, increase to 20 in this manner. After you get 5 over 10, increase to 30, 40 till you reach 100. When you reach 100, then you can progress to push-ups. Go the same manner. When you reach 100 push-ups, you can then progress to explosive push-ups. And in this manner, you would gradually and actually be seeing progress efficiently. Then, next we're going to talk about how the expected time to reach your goal. This one is tricky, but it really depends on your imagination and how big you are willing to think. For someone that takes things, that likes for things, for that is waiting for things to get easier before he progresses, he is going to take at least 3 times more time it takes for the other person that progresses when it's an ease of 5 over 10. For example, if you are waiting for, let's say, push-ups, let's say you are struggling with 50 push-ups, and then and if you are asked on a scale of 1 to 10 how easy was it for you, if you say 5 over 10 but you are still not willing to increase what you are doing, you are waiting for it to become a 7 over 10 or 8 over 10 for you, you are most likely going to take 3 times more time to reach that 8 over 10 compared to the person that just advances straight when it gets to 5 over 10. The point is that it would never get easier quickly unless you grow stronger. So if you are someone that is okay with taking a lot more time, sure, you can wait till you get to 7 over 10 or 8 over 10. But if you are someone that wants to get your goal faster, just progress immediately it gets to 5 over 10. I can say this because I personally spent about more than a year waiting for 100 push-ups on a go to get easier, but it never got easier. It was only when I increased what I did from about 100 to 120, 150 before I was seeing progress. That's most likely what we face, or even worse, when you keep waiting for things to get easier before you advance to the next level. Next, we're going to talk about how to get your goal faster. Like I said before, stop waiting for it to get easier. It would only get easier when you grow stronger. And you only grow stronger when you start taking bigger things. For example, look at the illustration of math. When you were in primary school, you might have been finding complex multiplication table normal or even a bit not easy for you. But then over time, once you go to secondary school, university, and start taking something like calculus, higher math, multiplication table feels like a joke to you because of the level at which you are already taking things. If you had stayed at primary school waiting to master multiplication table before you went on to calculus, you'll have take a lot more time than when you just went on straight, even without mastering it. This is one thing I usually tell myself. Stop looking for perfection. Look for progress. Perfection would come along the way. So once you can say you can do this level of training with at least an ease of 5 over 10, you are ready to advance to the next level. As simple as that. And how long would it take for you to achieve your goal? If you are someone that typically moves at the level of 5 over 10 is ready to advance, it should take you not more than 9 months to have a ripped body and a strong body and a muscular body. But if you are someone that keeps waiting for things to get easier, maybe it's a 6 over 10 or 7 over 10 or 8 over 10, you are most likely going to take at least 3 times longer. At least. Why? Is because, like I told you, I was doing 100 for about a year and I barely saw any progress. You are most likely going to face that as well. Now, imagine if you are taking one extra year each year, or even 2 years, just to move from incline push-ups to push-ups to explosive push-ups. If you're taking 1 year each to progress, you're going to be taking at least 6, 7 years just to get your goal. Whereas someone else that is just moving, even though it's not perfect for him, they're just moving forward, it take him about 9 months. So you really see how things are. So that's really it. And if you have any questions that you personally want to ask me, my link is in my bio. Click it. That'll be all. This is Coach Forge from Forge Beyond.